On January 13, 1999, 18-year-old Hae Min Lee, a senior at Woodlawn High School in Baltimore County, Maryland, disappeared after school. Weeks later, her body was discovered in Leakin Park, partially buried in a shallow grave. Police quickly turned their attention to her ex-boyfriend, 17-year-old Adnan Syed, whose conviction for her murder would become one of the most famous and contested cases in recent American history. From the outset, investigators focused on Adnan Syed. Friends described the breakup between Hae and Adnan as amicable, but prosecutors claimed he was motivated by jealousy and cultural shame. A key break in the case came when police received an anonymous phone call suggesting they look at Syed. The prosecution's narrative hinged heavily on the testimony of Jay Wilds, an acquaintance of Adnan's. Jay told police that Adnan had shown him Hae's body in the trunk of her car and enlisted his help in burying her in Leakin Park. Jay's accounts shifted multiple times, but his testimony became the backbone of the state's case. Cell phone records, introduced at trial, were used to corroborate Jay's timeline, particularly incoming calls that supposedly placed Adnan near Leakin Park at the time of the burial. However, the reliability of this evidence has since been challenged, as disclaimers in the phone records indicated that incoming call locations were not reliable for determining location. Adnan Syed was arrested on February 28, 1999, and charged with first-degree murder, kidnapping, false imprisonment, and robbery. His first trial ended in a mistrial when jurors overheard the judge making disparaging comments about the defense attorney, Cristina Gutierrez. At his second trial in early 2000, the prosecution painted a picture of a young man unable to handle rejection. They argued that Hae's death was a premeditated act of rage. Jay Wilds' testimony, combined with the cell phone records, was presented as damning evidence. The defense challenged Jay's credibility, pointing out inconsistencies in his story and the absence of any physical evidence tying Adnan to the crime scene. However, the defense failed to call a crucial potential alibi witness, Asia McClain, who claimed she had seen Adnan in the library at the time prosecutors alleged Hae was killed. On February 25, 2000, Adnan Syed was found guilty on all counts and sentenced to life in prison plus 30 years. In 2016, a judge vacated his conviction, citing ineffective assistance of counsel due to the failure to contact Asia McClain. The state appealed, and in 2018, the Maryland Court of Special Appeals upheld the decision to grant Syed a new trial. However, in 2019, the Maryland Court of Appeals reinstated his conviction in a narrow 4-3 decision, ruling that while Gutierrez's performance was deficient, it was unlikely to have changed the verdict. In 2022, advances in forensic testing provided a new path forward. The Baltimore State's Attorney's Office conducted a review of Syed's case, uncovering multiple Brady violations, instances where prosecutors had failed to share evidence with the defense. This included information about 2 alternative suspects who had histories of violence toward women and who were known to Hae. Additionally, new DNA testing on items from the crime scene found no traces linking Syed to the murder. On September 19, 2022, Judge Melissa Finn vacated Syed's conviction, citing the failure to disclose exculpatory evidence and the emergence of new forensic results. The judge ordered Syed's release after 23 years in prison, though the state retained the option to retry him. On October 11, 2022, the Baltimore State's Attorney's Office dropped all charges, effectively ending the case against him. Despite Syed's release, the case remains unsolved. The identities of the potential alternative suspects have not been publicly confirmed, and no one else has been charged with Hae Min Lee's murder. Some of Hae's family members have expressed frustration, maintaining their belief in Syed's guilt and lamenting the lack of closure. The case also raises broader issues about the criminal justice system, the reliability of witness testimony, the potential for prosecutorial misconduct, and the importance of forensic advancements in correcting wrongful convictions.